I remember it vividly, the night that changed everything. It was a warm summer evening, and my best friend Jake had come over for a sleepover at my house. We were both 11 years old and loved nothing more than playing video games and telling spooky stories late into the night. Little did we know that this night would be different, far more terrifying than anything we could have ever imagined. We had set up a blanket fort in the living room, complete with pillows, snacks, and a flashlight. As the clock struck midnight, we huddled together inside our cozy fortress, eager to begin our horror-filled adventure. Jake pulled out his flashlight and aimed it under his chin, casting eerie shadows across his face as he began to tell his tale.
Once upon a time, in a small town like ours, there were two brave boys named Max and Sam.
Jake started, his voice filled with suspense.
One fateful night, when they were having a sleepover just like us, they heard strange giggles coming from outside the window.
I felt a shiver crawl up my spine as Jake's words echoed through the room. We glanced at each other, eyes wide with anticipation, as we listened intently to every word. Max and Sam, being curious and fearless, decided to investigate the mysterious laughter. Jake continued. They crept downstairs, careful not to wake their parents, and opened the front door. As Jake's words hung in the air, a gust of wind rattled the windows, sending a chill down my spine. I peered outside, half expecting to see something lurking in the darkness. But all I saw was the dim glow of the streetlights, casting eerie shadows across the silent neighborhood. Jake's voice grew hushed as he leaned in closer, the flashlight casting an eerie glow on his face. The boys followed the sound of laughter, deeper into the woods behind their house. They walked and walked, their hearts pounding in their chests, until they stumbled upon an abandoned playground. I could almost hear the creaking of rusted swings and the distant echo of children's laughter as Jake's story grew more intense. My imagination ran wild, and I couldn't help but feel a mixture of excitement and fear. But as Max and Sam approached the playground, they saw something that made their blood run cold. Jake whispered. There, on the swings, were ghostly figures of children, swinging back and forth without a care in the world. Their laughter grew louder, echoing through the night. My heart raced as I imagined the haunting sight of those ghostly children. The room felt colder, the atmosphere thick with unease. I wondered if there was any truth to Jake's story or if it was just another one of his elaborate tales. As if sensing my skepticism, Jake suddenly stopped and turned off the flashlight. Darkness enveloped the room, leaving us in an unsettling silence. My breath caught in my throat as I heard a faint sound, distant yet distinct, a soft, eerie laughter that seemed to be coming from just outside the window. My heart pounded in my chest as I squeezed Jake's arm tightly. He, too, had heard it. Our eyes widened in fear as we exchanged terrified glances. We mustered the courage to creep towards the window, curiosity and dread warring within us. But as we peered outside, expecting to see ghostly figures or the haunted playground, we saw nothing. Just the quiet street, bathed in moonlight, with no signs of laughter or ghostly apparitions. Confused and scared, we retreated back into our blanket fort, huddled together for comfort. The laughter continued sporadically throughout the night, always seeming to be just out of reach. It echoed in our minds, haunting us until the first rays of dawn appeared. The next morning, we shared our eerie experience with our parents. But they dismissed it as nothing more than the overactive imagination of two boys engrossed in their own ghost story. Yet, deep down, we knew what we had heard was real. Years passed, and Jake and I remained friends, our shared experience forever etched in our memories. To this day, we wonder what we encountered that night, whether it was the spirit of mischievous children or something far more sinister. But one thing is certain, that sleepover changed our lives forever, and the sound of creepy children's laughter will forever send shivers down our spines. Story 2. I looked around the dimly lit room, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. The sleepover had been my idea, a chance to spend more time with the girl I had a crush on, Emily. Along with Emily, there were two other friends, Mark and Lisa, who were happily engrossed in a conversation about their favorite horror movies. I had secretly hoped that this sleepover would be the perfect opportunity for me to confess my feelings to Emily. The eerie atmosphere seemed fitting, like something out of a horror movie itself. We had set up our sleeping bags in the living room, surrounded by shadows dancing in the flickering light of the television. Little did I know that our innocent gathering would soon become a nightmare-esque ordeal. As we settled down, Mark suggested playing a game called The Midnight Ritual. Supposedly, it was a way to summon spirits and communicate with the other side. Initially hesitant, I reluctantly agreed, secretly hoping it would impress Emily. Mark began explaining the rules, his voice almost a whisper, adding an extra layer of mystery to the game. We need to turn off all the lights and sit in a circle. Each person takes turns asking a question to the spirits. The spirits will respond by moving an object placed at the center of the circle. The room grew darker as we turned off the lights, and I could sense Emily's slight shiver next to me. The anticipation hung heavy in the air as Mark placed a small glass in the middle of the circle. We each rested our fingers lightly on it, forming a connection. Fear and excitement coursed through my veins, my heart pounding louder than ever. I mustered up the courage to break the silence. Are there any spirits present? If so, can you make yourself known? For a moment, nothing happened, and I started to believe it was all just a silly game. Then, as if in response to my question, a slight movement rippled through the glass. I felt a chill run down my spine, and Emily squeezed my hand tighter, her unease mirroring my own. The questions continued, and with each answer from the spirits, the atmosphere grew more sinister. The glass moved with an unnatural force, answering questions with precision. It spelled out chilling messages that sent shivers down our spines. I could see the fear etched on Lisa's face, and even Mark seemed shaken by the intensity of the game. In the midst of this escalating horror, I caught Emily's gaze. Her eyes were wide with a mix of terror and curiosity. She was gripping my hand so tightly that I could feel my fingers losing circulation. Part of me wanted to protect her, to whisk her away from this malevolent energy. But another part of me was drawn to the thrill of the unknown, the chance to impress her. As the game neared its end, the glass suddenly shattered into 1,000 shards, scattering across the floor. A deafening silence enveloped the room, broken only by our startled gasps. It was as if the spirits had grown tired of our meddling and lashed out, warning us to stop. We quickly switched on the lights, revealing a room filled with tension and fear. I looked at Emily, expecting her to be terrified, but instead, I saw a strange glimmer of admiration in her eyes. It was a look that both excited and scared me. The sleepover continued, but the haunting experience lingered in our minds, casting a dark shadow over our laughter and jokes. I never did confess my feelings to Emily that night. Somehow, the supernatural encounter had made me question whether our connection was based on genuine affection or the adrenaline-fueled thrill of fear. As we lay in our sleeping bags, surrounded by the remnants of shattered glass, I couldn't help but wonder if our encounter with the spirits was a warning. A warning that sometimes, the desire for something more can lead us down a path filled with darkness and uncertainty.